Should you buy Dead Island 2? Dead Island 2 has been in development for God knows how long. I mean, we actually know how long. It was like announced in 2014, so it's been in development for nearly 10 years. It's gone through multiple studios and it's finally here. Fans have been eagerly awaiting the sequel to Dead Island, and I am not one of them. I played Dead Island 1 about 6 months ago, and I've got to be honest, I did not like that game at all. I did not enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy it. I got a lot of comments criticizing me, saying, "You're wrong, you have bad opinions, screw this reviewer, he's no good." Well, I'm here to say, Dead Island 2 is a massive improvement on the original Dead Island, and I think some of the hate it's getting is completely unjustified. But let me explain. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to talk about the story because it's the least important bit, and then we're going to move on to the gameplay, the customization, the open world, all that stuff, okay? Timestamps should be down in the description. Can't guarantee it. I'm tired. Okay, let's go. So Dead Island 2 continues the notoriously bad storyline from Dead Island 1 and just makes it way more fun. This time it's set in LA and everything is heightened. It's like a Hollywood movie. It's constantly referenced. In fact, there's a ton of references in this story, especially with the script. I mean, there was a straight up reference to The Last of Us. They're not even trying to hide it.
But this one, where's The Last of Us?
Ha!
But the cool part about Dead Island 2 is that you have multiple characters to play as. You did have that in Dead Island 1, but here you've got like 6 or 5 characters, and they're all voiced, which is just cool. It's good for replay value. I ended up going for the character of Jacob because I just found him the most interesting, and he's actually pretty funny in the game. I mean, most of the lines in this story are not good at all. They're cringy, they're annoying, but there are some really good comedic lines as well, so it's a good balance, you know. It's like a cheesy Hollywood Fast and Furious movie, except it's zombies, you know what I mean? That's what it is. You have a ton of side characters as well. Most of them I can't name because they're not very interesting. There's a ton of them, but, you know, there's just not much development. I mean, you have a couple characters that I won't spoil that, you know, get some highlights, but it's just not the point of the game, you know what I mean? This is a zombie game. I do agree that I was a bit too focused on the story in my original Dead Island review, so I'm not going to do that here. Basically, to sum up the story so I'm not wasting any of your time, it's not very good, but it's not important, really. It's just there to give you an incentive to kill zombies, and that is what you want from a zombie game. I think we can all agree on that. Maybe not. Let me know down below. Leave your comments, without insulting me this time. You can insult me, I like it. So let's move on from the story. So, with the different characters you can pick, as I said, I picked Jacob. They all have different stats and all that, but it doesn't really matter in the long term because you're going to be upgrading your character, you get different skills, you get different weapons. The biggest difference is your stamina and your health, pretty much. When you first start the game, you're very underpowered, okay? You're going to take out a few zombies. I saw a Twitter post a couple days back complaining about the fact you were underpowered at the start. I'm just like, come on, dude. Come on. It's a zombie game. You want to progress. You want to get more powerful towards the end of the game. Shut up. So yeah, you are quite underpowered at the start of the game, but you know, a couple hours in, you're pretty much set. It's not a very difficult zombie game at all. This is a very simple, easy game to play and just have fun casually. But let's talk about the combat and gore system, which is more than likely going to get me demonetized, but who cares? I actually really like the combat system here. I've seen a lot of people say it feels floaty, it doesn't feel very impactful, but I just disagree. I think it's better than Dying Light in some cases, to be perfectly honest with you. That doesn't mean it's better than Dying Light in total because of the customization and stuff like that. We'll get onto that. But for what it is, it's really fun to just play. I just can't put it into words, really. You get a ton of weapons. You get bats, you get machetes, you get pistols, you get shotguns, you get assault rifles, you get molotovs, you get pipe bombs, you get all of it, okay? You get pretty much everything you possibly want. But there are a few nitpicks I have. Firstly, customization on your weapons. It is not that good, okay? It's not anywhere near what Dying Light is, because basically, with your weapons, you get like you get 3 mods on the later weapons, but at the start you get like 2 or 1. And you can select a mod and it changes it to electricity, or fire, or corrosive damage, you know, the usual zombie stuff, you know, RPG stuff in some cases. And that's pretty much it. Yes, you can customize every weapon in the game, but eventually you're going to realize that, you know, there's only a certain amount of melee weapons in the game. They just look slightly different, which is unfortunate. I'm still waiting for a zombie game to come out that has like this amazing customization for your weapon, so you could take like a machete and then you can add an extra machete on top of it just for the fun of it, or you can get like a spear and you could chop the spear in half and you could dual wield the spear or something. Just give us something like that someday, please. The AI is terrible though. I mean, you're fighting zombies. There are no human combatants in Dead Island 2. They completely got rid of that, and I actually quite enjoyed that. Sure, it would be nice to have a bit more variety in there, but you know, it is what it is. There's plenty of zombie games you can play where there's like human combatants. Like I appreciate them just sticking to what they they can do well. And speaking of that, let's talk about the enemy variety. I was really surprised. I mean, it's not a ton of variety. You've got, your usual, your runners, your walkers, your explodey guys, your big tank guys and all that stuff. And you've also got Shrek. Check this out.
You have to get here. Hello? You okay? You have to get it. Can you hear me?
But, they aren't overused a lot of the time until the end of the game. The end of the game we'll talk about in just a minute. But they're not overused. It always feels like a good balance. You're always trying to switch to your ranged weapons and then your shorthand weapons and stuff like that. It's a good balance, keeping you on your toes constantly, so you're always aware of your surroundings. I really like that. And this is the best part of the game. This is what I'm going to say. This is the best part of the game. The ability to interact with the environment, kind of. It's nowhere near as what I really want, but I'm always a guy that advocates for physics over, graphics at this point. Graphics are great, every game looks pretty damn good these days, so I want to see improvements in physics. And while this isn't something particularly new, it's so cool. So you get like fuel canisters, water, so they store water, you can tip it on the floor, you can get an electric weapon, you can stab it and it just electrifies the floor, or you can set the floor on fire and explode barrels, or you can use a fire shotgun, you can shoot it's so cool. Me talking doesn't do it justice. Just look on the screen. There it is. It's so damn cool. It's so much fun to use, and I never got tired of it. And I know that seems a bit ridiculous, but honestly, stuff like that is missing from most games. Interactivity, that's so important to games, man, and not enough games do it. It's really annoying. Now, the pacing of the game is a bit iffy, okay? I mean, it gives you weapons and it upgrades you at a steady pace, which is good, but there were plenty of times where it's like, okay, you're kind of killing the pacing here. I'm kind of bored of this specific thing. Let's move on to something else. And this is where the biggest issue comes in for Dead Island 2. The open world design and mission design isn't great. It's very dated. It is very dated. I need you to know that before you consider buying it. This is not like a new revolutionary game. This is like something you get from an Xbox 360 era type game, okay? The open world is split into multiple sections. This is not a fully, world where you can just travel to the end of the map. You can't do that. You get cut into loading screens, which is a bit annoying. That being said, as much as I disliked it and the fact that it's so aged, it's kind of nice for it to be so streamlined. Because when you open up the map, you're not blasted with icons, you're not blasted with all the side activities. You go to each area and you just naturally get the side missions, you naturally explore, and then you can just fast travel back if you missed anything. And I really like that. I do like that, despite its aged, mechanics, basically. Not mechanics, but you get what I'm saying. But it may not be for everyone, that's why I'm mentioning it. But for me, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was nice to play a game that was just so chilled out. It just said, yep, here's a loading screen, just relax for a minute, and there you go. Off you go again, go kill some zombies. It's nice to just be able to breathe, you know what I mean? Rather than going to the next mission, and the next mission. Dude, keep playing. Retention. Here's a microtransaction, guy. Here's a microtransaction. No, that's not here. There's no microtransactions from my knowledge. I didn't see any. And it's just a simple zombie game, and I really enjoyed it. I can't advocate it enough. And the level design is not great. A lot of the time you're going to be asked to fetch this thing, to connect it to this thing, and then fetch another thing. Oh no, you can't get through this door, you got to do it again. Ooh, do it again. That's pretty much the whole game. I can't even lie to you. But it was fun for a while. Until it wasn't. It's one of them. I did want to write a script for this, but I felt like being a bit more natural for this kind of game would work best. And I think it has while recording this. I may think differently when I'm editing it, but it is what it is. I really like the game, and I definitely recommend pretty much anyone to buy it unless you hate, and I mean hate, zombie games, okay? This is going to fill the hole that some people may have had when the Dying Light 2 came out because they didn't like it. I like Dying Light 2 myself, but this could fill that hole. And it's just really nice to see this game come out not in a terrible state, because it went through 4 different developers, or 3, like development studios, so whole new teams. I'm pretty sure it got rebooted like 3 times. It's mad. But yeah, I highly recommend it. Give it a shot. If you don't want to pay full price for it, I totally get it. It's an aged game. But if you're going to wait for a sale, just give it a shot at some point. You don't have to complete it. You can refund it after 2 hours. It's up to you. But I definitely recommend it myself. Really enjoyed it. Can't praise it enough. I hope we get more games like this soon. Just simple, easy, casual, fun experiences. And that's it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And join the Discord down below if you want to talk about Dead Island or any kind of game you want to talk about. I've got events and stuff planned. Give me some time for that. Thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Mwah. That was sus. I'm sorry.